There's literally no good video ideas at all. Screw it, just use the container. Like one would be nice, just a single one, but apparently it's not in the cards for me today to come up with anything to write about or do. So kick back, just watch some Creepcast.
A commander question for Hunter. This might not be the best place to ask, but most of us have similar interest. I was wondering if anyone has a suggestion on Cryptid Commander deck. Fallout actually just came out with a card that's the Mothman. So if if you want to do, if you're big into MTG, actually the Fallout Commander decks rule. So I was gonna say the Mothman one is insane. It's like a radiation deck. It's really good. I don't know if you play Magic at all, but
no, I told him that I played my first game of D&D not long ago, but I'd be willing to try.
Hey, Wendigo, Nevada plates, huh? What brings you into town? So, keen-eared guy like myself couldn't help but notice, Hunter got asked a question about Commander and Cryptid decks. He recommended the Mothman as a Commander. Wendigo, Isaiah, you said, I played a game of D&D. I'd consider playing a game of Commander. Well, that's good enough for me, so I took it upon myself to make an entire deck for you. So, there you go. Hopefully you get to see this. That'd be sick. But the question you guys got asked actually, made me curious. Are there enough cryptid cards or cards that kind of depict cryptids in the art to, actually make a commander deck? And the answer is yes. There's 100% enough cryptids to make a commander deck, and it's actually kind of sick. I think you'd really like Magic, my guy, because you're into cryptids, and they're very closely related. Creatures and Magic, super closely related to cryptids. Two, you're into guns, and people have often said that Magic is the firepower of TCGs, much like mayo is the sauce of the aristocrat. Just something I thought you might like to think about. Am I going to describe all these cryptids, where they come from, what they are? No, Wendigo does that way better than me. So I'll leave links in the description to all of his cryptid videos so you can see that I'm not just blowing smoke. But I will show you a picture of the cryptid, or what people assume the cryptid to look like, and then the picture of the card I'm talking about. And you can go, hey, that kind is that cryptid. Also, this is a 100 card deck. It has a good mana base. It's got mana ramp, removal, card draw. It's got all the stuff that you need to have in a deck for it to run. And the whole deck is just about beating people's face. So, hey, it's pretty good. The commander of the deck is the Wise Mothman. 1, a black, a green, and a blue for a 3/3, flying. Whenever the Wise Mothman enters the battlefield or attacks, each player gets a rad counter. Whenever one or more non-land cards are milled, put a 1/1 counter on each of up to X target creatures, where X is the number of non-land cards milled this way. It'll make more sense when someone explains the game to you. I'm sure there's tons of people around you that are gonna do that. So essentially our whole strategy is swing with Big Moth. Big Moth gives people rad counters. Those rad counters make people put cards from their deck into their graveyard, and then your creatures get bigger for the amount of non-land stuff that gets put into the graveyard. So we're just going to play a bunch of big, scary cryptids and then get them huge with the Mothman's rad triggers. I thought that was the best way to go about this, because a lot of these are just big, scary Timmy creatures, which makes sense. Going in alphabetical order here. First, we've got the cryptid Bloodworm, and representing the Bloodworms, we've got Mole Worms. Now, not the same name, but look at the art. It's a bloodworm. Up next, we got the Chupacabra, and for that, we've got Ravenous Chupacabra. It enters and destroys something. That's very good. And very chup, very cabra. Up next, we've got Dog-Headed, because I cannot pronounce the actual word. It should be on the screen somewhere. We've got Abzan Beastmaster and Anox Survivalist. Yeah. I'd say they got dog heads. They do be having dog heads. One of them destroys artifacts and enchantments, removal. One of them lets you draw cards if you have big creatures. We have big cryptids, card draw. It works. Is this one a stretch? Very much so. Did I still put it on here? Yes. The Flatwoods Monster. There's a picture of him. And then keep watch. Maybe he lost his little feather thing. I think it looks really similar, so I put it on the list. Sorry. We got Spinewoods Armadillo, because I know how much you love normal animal but big. So it's in here. Blackcleave Goblin. Goblins be goblin. There's a lot of goblins. I thought he was kind of like a vanilla one, so I just included one goblin in here. Lone Shark. We got the ground shark. I don't know if it's a land shark or a ground shark. I can't remember what the exact name of the cryptid is. But this is a shark, and it do be on land. So up next, we got the Jackalope. We got Jackalope herd. We straight up have a Jackalope. How cool is that? Up next, we got Kappas or Kappa. I think they're Kappas. Up next, we got Kappas. There's one that is a straight up Kappa with Kappa Tech Wrecker. Straight up a Kappa. Their concept is really cool. If you want to look into those, or again, watch Wendigo's video. It's a way better way to intake it. One of my favorite cryptids. And then there's Tidepool Turtle. Maybe. I don't know if you'd consider that a Kappa. I kind of did. Kind of fit the aesthetic a little bit. We're moving on to probably my second favorite cryptid. Kelpies. I think those are very fucking cool. And there's 3 of them, actually, that are playable. Grazing Kelpie, Kelpie Guide, and River Kelpie. And it's kind of cool because they depict, like, both depictions of what a Kelpie would look like. Some people say it's like a horse. Other people say it's like this mass of, like, flesh that sits by rivers. So we're kind of covering all the bases here, which I think is kind of cool. Up next is the Megalodon, or otherwise known as the Giant Shark. And for that, we've got Giant Shark. We do be having cryptids, I told you. For this one, I put MTG Cryptid because this is not a real cryptid, but it should be. And it damn well better be an MTG Cryptid. We've got the Pride of the 𝗗𝗘𝗚𝗢𝗡. So Simic and Magic Wendigoon is probably what you're going to end up playing a lot of if you decide to play the game past any of this. Because you pretty much just make your own cryptids. Their whole thing is just mutating things and like mashing them together. For instance, this thing's a crocodile elk turtle. Crocodile elk turtle cryptid. Damn right, there's not one of these. That's the magic cryptid right there. I thought I'd throw them in. I thought you'd like them. Up next, we've got Naga, which are like snake people. And that's actually what they're called in Magic as well. So there's 4 that are really good here. We've got Naga Oracle, Naga Vitalist, Sakura Tribe Elder, Watchful Naga. 2 of them add mana, 2 of them draw you cards. Again, very playable. They're also very cryptid, so I like that. Again, if you want to look at this deck list, find out any of this down in the description. I have 3 cards that I didn't know where to put them. I put them under the tag on theme because they do feel very cryptid-y, even though they don't depict cryptids. We've got Boarded Windows. You know what I mean? It kind of works. Polymorph. It like morphs things into other things. So it can morph your cryptids into other cryptids. I think that's just cool gameplay-wise, deck-wise. I think a cryptid would do such a thing. I think a cryptid player would do stuff like that. I like it. Victim of the Night. It like destroys a non-vampire, non-werewolf, what's the other thing? Zombie. So it almost feels like it says non-cryptid. It's just kind of cool. I like that one. I think those 3 are on flavor for the deck. I put them in. To risk all the perfect pronunciations I've done so far, we've got the Peryton, I think, which is like an elk dragon with horn. It's like a horse dragon with horns. And we've got Archon of Cruelty. I think Archon of Cruelty is more of like a lion dragon with horns, but I still thought that kind of fit the bill. So there he is. He's also really good. There's another one that I think stems from like Mayan beliefs. Correct me if I'm wrong. The 𝗗𝗘𝗘𝗗𝗚𝗢𝗡. Again, correct me if I mispronounce all of these words. Which is just like a winged, feathered snake. And we've got a couple cards here. We've got Icefang-Coatl, which is 𝗗𝗘𝗘𝗗𝗚𝗡. That quite literally is one of those. And then the Everflowing Well is just an artifact, but it depicts a snake with feathers. So again, definitely a Coatl. Up next is OG Cryptid. We've got Sasquatch. And there actually is a Toxic Sheep Squatch. Not necessarily a Sasquatch, but I think that is damn near close enough to be considered a Sasquatch cryptid card. Very big, very scary, very cool. And then just for you, because I know how much you love sea monsters, I'm not sorry. We run 6 sea monsters. Breaching Leviathan, Crush of Tentacles, Nadir Kraken, Nazahal Primal Tide, Thing in the Ice, and Whelming Wave. Not all those are Krakens. They all have something to do with sea monsters or Krakens. I think they're all fitting that theme. And they're big and scary, and they can win games, so I gave you a couple extras. Sirens! This one's kind of cool, because in your video, you talk about how sometimes they're depicted more as like the mermaid thing, when in reality they had feathers. And Magic apparently gets it right, which is really cool. We've got Hypnotic Sirens, Dulcet Sirens, and Siren's Call. Where they're depicted as, well, I guess the Dulcet Sirens are depicted more mermaidy, but the Hypnotic Siren is straight up a bird, which I think is cool. You get kind of all the depictions also, which is nice. Up next, we got Skinwalker, which I was like, is a weird one, and then it popped into my head, we have an absolute perfect creature type for that. We have Changelings, and once you look at the art, they're Skinwalkers. Game Trail Changeling, Shapesharer, Woodland Changeling, Skeletal Changeling. They are just Skinwalkers. They probably just couldn't use that or something. Up next is Sphinxes, which might be my second favorite. Nah, Kelpies are just cool. We got Sphinxes coming up next, which are very cool and also super strong. We've got Consecrated Sphinx, Sphinx of the Clear Skies, Sphinx of Enlightenment. Again, they will all help you draw more cards, get more cards in your hand. They're big, beefy flyers. You don't know what a big, beefy flyer is yet, but you want big, beefy flyers. You want a little BBF on your side. Up next is Thunderbird, and I thought you would love this. We have a card called Storm Crow. There's no way that's coincidence, right? That's got to be a joke. Unicorns, kind of boring, so I just included one because it's good mana ramp. Opaline Unicorn. There you go. There actually is one more Siren I forgot to tag, and I'm lazy. So here it is. Siren Storm Tamer. Bada boom. Next we got werewolves. We got Werewolf Pack Leader, and then we've got Mob. Mob just like depicts a werewolf in a spell. The Werewolf Pack Leader actually is a werewolf. Removal, really good creature. Again, cool cryptid, a classic cryptid. So yeah, I included it in here. Yetis. We've actually got 2 Yetis in the game, which I had no clue was a thing, but here we are. Sylvan Yeti and Carplusian Strider are both Yetis, which is really cool. So we got Sasquatches, Yetis, the whole 9. And then not necessarily alphabetical order because I wanted to save this one for last. We've got the Wendigo. We've actually got like all the depictions of how people say a Wendigo is, which is actually really cool. So some people depict a Wendigo as like this horned being, like it's a man that has eaten another person's flesh and turns into this horned demon looking being. And to depict that, we've got Faceless Haven, Morai to the Frost, Encase in Ice, Old Stick Fingers, and Winterborn Blessing, which all kind of depict this almost elkish looking human with horns that looks demony, and I think kind of fits that depiction of what a Wendigo is supposed to look like. Another depiction is that they are like frozen almost, like they eat a human and then they are almost like this frozen cold dead corpse that walks around. So we've got the shape of the Wendigo and the Wendigo, the shape of the Wendigo and the Wendigo, which again, Wendigo sounds a lot like the Wendigo. They're definitely meant to depict some sort of cryptid. I felt like this is the best category to include these two. Maybe in the magic cryptids category, but I think these are definitely trying to go for more of a Wendigo vibe. And then there's another view of the Wendigo where it's just like this malnourished human that's kind of lanky and monstery looking, that just wants to eat everything around it, which I think Woe Strider actually depicts like very closely to almost exactly what that's depicted or supposed to look like again. So again, another really cool one. Outside of that, we do run lands. They're on the deck list. I don't really want to get into them too much, though, on this video. I hope that was cool. I hope you liked the video. I hope you liked the deck. I hope this got to you in some way. If you're just watching the video, I hope you also enjoyed the video and you like this. If you want to build this deck, the deck is in the description. Feel free to check it out. If you know of any other cryptid cards or cards that are like depicting cryptids and like that and stuff like that, please comment them. That'd be awesome. Again, please check out Wendigo's content. It's been getting me through life right now, so appreciate that. And I think the best way to end this video would be thanks for watching. Bye.